When Grandma was diagnosed with cancer, I was her only visitor. Then she mentioned her Brooklyn brownstone and hidden fortune. Suddenly everyone couldn't live without her. Grandma was diagnosed with cancer, and it was like nobody in the family wanted to deal with her. My aunt and uncle practically kicked her out of their house. My own parents told her she should just give up. Aunt Carol's husband even had the nerve to say she should hurry up and die already. I was the only one who would sneak over to see her, bring her some decent food, and save up to get her a window AC unit for the summer. Then Grandma dropped the bomb. She owned a brownstone in Brooklyn and knew where some antique silverware worth a fortune was hidden. Suddenly everyone was all over her, acting like they couldn't live without her, but when she passed, she left something to all my relatives except me. When it came time for Thanksgiving, nobody in my family even wanted to go back to our hometown. Mom actually said, "What's the point of seeing that old woman? She's not leaving you a dime." My brother was sprawled on the couch glued to his video game, and Dad was scrolling through his phone, pretending not to hear anything. Ever since Grandma got sick, the family acted like she was bad luck, but I couldn't shake her kind face from my mind. I just couldn't leave her alone in that old house. Dad, aren't you going? Maybe we should ask Uncle Mark and Aunt Susan. Grandma's been living with them after all. Dad waved his hand, still staring at his phone. Don't bother me. Ran who wants to go can go. I'm busy, I sighed and called my uncle. It took him forever to pick up. The second I mentioned going home to see Grandma, he acted like he was swamped. Your aunt and I don't have time for that. We have to take care of our grand cows. Besides, your grandma isn't bedridden, she can manage. Then he hung up. Aunt Carol didn't even wait for me to ask. She sent a text in the family group chat. We're taking the kids to Florida for Thanksgiving. Can't make it this year. I was fuming. Before Grandma got sick, they weren't acting this way when Grandma was younger. She was a factory worker, a real go-getter. She practically raised all of us grand heaves. My parents dumped me on her when they wanted to have my brother. If she hadn't insisted on getting me a birth certificate, I wouldn't even exist on paper. Grandma treated all of us the same, spending her retirement checks to buy us treats. Back then, Uncle Mark, my dad, and Aunt Carol all practically fought to have her live with them. Having her around was like having a free live-in housekeeper. Then she got sick, and suddenly she couldn't do anything for anyone. That's when everyone changed, but she was still my grandma. If they wouldn't go, I would. I drove out there and found her digging up carrots in the backyard. She had lost so much weight you could see her cheekbones poking out. Her eyes were sunken and she looked like a skeleton. My eyes started to water. Drama heard the car and turned around. Honey, what are you doing here? Come on in, it's freezing. Her coat was ripped under the arms with cotton stuffing poking out. I swallowed my tears and carried the groceries inside. It was freezing in the house. Exemission has central heating now. No one burns coal anymore. Grandma didn't have heat and wouldn't turn on the window AC. She only had a hot water bottle to keep her warm at night. She didn't want me to get cold, so she filled up a hot water bottle for me too. Cough, cough. I thought you all were skipping out this year. Where are your parents? Looking at her hopeful expression, I didn't know what to say. I just said they were working and couldn't get away. Grandma didn't say anything, but still made me a huge dinner. Then right after we finished eating, she went to do the dishes. I tried to take over, but she wouldn't let me cough. You drove all the way out here. Just sit down and relax. Spawn, cough, cough. She started coughing harder and harder, her face turning red. Then she coughed up blood and collapsed like a rag doll. I panicked and called 911, but the town was far from the hospital, at least a 30-minute drive. After calling the ambulance, I called my dad, but he didn't answer. I took a video and sent it to the family group chat, begging them to come help. But the group chat, which was usually blowing up with messages, was dead silent. Luckily, my neighbor helped me get Grandma to the hospital. They worked on her all night and finally got her stable, but the doctor told me that she was in bad shape, and she only had a month left. I choked back tears and told my family,